When we speak of faith, family, and the daily battles of life, it's often the quiet voices, the mothers, the fathers, the hidden saints of the household who carry the heaviest crosses and yet remain unseen. One such voice, a mother named Laura, poured out her heart in a letter published in Piazza San Pietro, a magazine born out of Pope Francis' initiative. In this issue, Laura's words were met with a tender and powerful response from none other than Pope Leo XIV, and from this exchange, a timeless lesson emerges, one that all families, across every nation, need to hear. When temptations and uncertainties arise in family life, turn to Mary. But before we reach Pope Leo's guidance, let us step for a moment into Laura's world. Laura is a wife and a mother of 3 beautiful daughters. From the outside, her life looks blessed. She has a loving husband, a family centered on faith, and a heart burning with desire to raise her children in the love of God. Yet, behind her smiles, she carries a struggle that many Catholic parents know all too well. She writes, "I am the mother of 3 wonderful daughters whom I try to nourish with prayer and the word of the gospel every day," words that, at times, I fail to translate into action. Here, we hear the raw honesty of a mother torn between her ideals and her daily realities. She knows the truth of the gospel. She prays. She tries. And yet, like so many of us, she feels she often falls short. Why? Because life is messy. Life is fast. The clock never seems to pause. In her words, the chaotic life and the hectic pace don't help me appreciate the grace I have around me. Every mother, every father listening right now can relate to these words. How many times have you rushed through a day, collapsing into bed at night, only to wonder, did I show my children enough love? Did I pray with them? Did I even notice the grace of God hidden in the little moments? Laura feels this deeply, and she takes it to prayer. I pray every day that the Lord will enlighten me so that I may be a guide for my daughters, and I wonder how the Virgin Mary raised the Lord. Pause here. Imagine her sitting late at night after putting her daughters to bed. The house is finally quiet. The dishes done. The toys picked up. Her husband asleep. And she whispers this question: how did Mary do it? How did the Virgin raise the Son of God? This is not an academic question. This is a mother crying out to heaven for guidance. But Laura confesses more. She says that her faith, though stronger than ever, feels tested. She fears temptations are gaining control. She wonders if her faith is strong enough to withstand the trials pressing against her family. This is not weakness. This is reality. The strongest faith often comes face to face with the hardest doubts. Even the saints felt this tension. St. Therese of Lisieux admitted moments of darkness. Mother Teresa endured years of spiritual silence. And now, in the heart of Italy, a Catholic mother named Laura feels that same storm raging around her home. And what does she do? She writes to the Pope. She places her doubts, her struggles, her fears into words and sends them into the hands of the successor of Peter. And Pope Leo XIV responds. In his letter, he praises her. He doesn't scold. He doesn't dismiss. He sees her honesty and calls it what it is, a blessing. He writes, "Take care of this spiritual treasure, which will always be guarded by the love of God." What is this treasure? Her enthusiasm for the faith, her sincerity of heart, her willingness to admit her weakness. And then, Pope Leo offers a line that should echo in every Christian home. If your point of reference, dear Laura, is Mary, you will be able to face any uncertainty. These are not casual words. They are an invitation into the heart of Marian devotion, because when you turn to Mary, you are never lost. She does not keep you for herself. She leads you to Christ. Pope Leo explains it. When you turn to her, the Virgin leads you to Christ. Mary's strength is always new and surprising because she entrusts herself completely to the Son, the Word incarnate through love. And in him, with Mary, we are all one. What a vision! A mother in Italy, kneeling by her bed, asking how Mary raised Jesus. A pope, reminding her that Mary's strength is not an ancient relic but a living, present reality. And all of us mothers, fathers, children united with Mary in Christ. But Pope Leo doesn't stop there. He reminds Laura she is not alone. He encourages her to share her faith with other families. He points to the power of parish life, diocesan gatherings, and Catholic movements. He knows that when families share their stories, their struggles, their victories, their prayers, they strengthen each other. He writes, sharing projects of Christian love is fundamental to spiritual progress and collaborating with God's grace and will. In other words, don't walk this road alone. Walk with others. Let your faith become a fire that lights up the community. And then, he blesses her. I bless you and your family. Thank you for your kind words. This is where Laura's story becomes more than her own. It becomes ours. Because whether you are a mother like Laura, a father trying to keep faith alive in your home, a young person navigating life's storms, or even someone who has drifted away from God, the message is the same. In times of temptation, in seasons of uncertainty, turn to Mary. When Pope Leo XIV took pen to paper to respond to Laura, he did not simply answer one woman's question. He gave the entire church a roadmap for how to navigate temptations and uncertainties in family life. Let's pause for a moment and really feel the weight of his words. He tells Laura, if your point of reference, dear Laura, is Mary, you will be able to face any uncertainty. What does this mean? Let's unpack it together. Mary, the compass in times of confusion. Think of family life like sailing across a wide ocean. Some days the waters are calm, the sky is clear, and everything feels steady. But on other days, storms rise up, waves crash, and it feels like the ship is going to sink. In those moments, what do sailors need most? A compass. A direction, a point of reference that will not move, no matter how the waves toss the boat. For Pope Leo, Mary is that compass. Why? Because she is the one who always points to Christ. She is the star of the sea, the Stella Maris, shining brightly even when the night feels dark. When you don't know how to raise your children, turn to Mary. When your marriage feels heavy with misunderstandings, turn to Mary. When the future feels uncertain, turn to Mary. This is not just poetic language, it's a lived truth of the Church. For centuries, Christians have turned to Mary in times of trouble. Sailors invoked her as their guide. Soldiers carried her medals into battle. Families placed her image above their hearths. And today, mothers like Laura still whisper her name when life becomes too much. Mary's surprising strength, Pope Leo explains. Mary's strength is always new and surprising because she entrusts herself completely to the Son, the Word incarnate through love. This is extraordinary. Mary's strength doesn't come from herself. She wasn't a queen in a palace, a scholar with books, or a warrior with armies. She was a humble woman of Nazareth. Her strength comes entirely from her trust in Jesus. And because she entrusted herself fully to him, she received a strength that never runs dry. It is always new. It is always surprising. This is why Mary can walk with every generation. She is not a figure of the past. She is alive in heaven, interceding for us, helping us, guiding us, reminding us, do whatever he tells you. For families, this truth changes everything. When parents feel exhausted, they can draw on Mary's strength. When children feel lost, they can look to her maternal care. When temptations knock on the door, Mary shows how to say yes to God and no to sin. Her strength is not outdated. It is present. And it is for you, and in him, with Mary, we are all one. Here Pope Leo gives us something even deeper. He reminds Laura and all of us that with Mary, in Christ, we are united. Think about this. The family of God is not a scattered group of individuals. We are one body, and Mary is the mother of that body. For Laura, this means she is not alone. Even if she feels isolated in her struggles as a mother, she belongs to a communion bigger than herself. For us, it means the same. Whatever struggles weigh on your family right now, financial burdens, sickness, misunderstandings, temptations, you are not carrying them alone. You are united to the family of God, and Mary is at the heart of that family. The power of sharing faith. Pope Leo doesn't stop at personal devotion. He calls Laura to open her heart to the wider church. He writes, it can be very important for your journey to share your family's faith and mission with other families, especially in the parish community, in diocesan settings, with movements or associations. Notice what he's doing here. He's reminding her that faith is not private. Yes, it is deeply personal. Yes, it happens in the quiet of prayer. but it is not meant to stay hidden. Faith grows when it is shared. Imagine Laura walking into her parish one Sunday. Instead of keeping her struggles inside, she shares with another mother how she feels overwhelmed by raising her daughters. That other mother nods and says, "I feel the same." Suddenly, both of them realize they are not alone. This is how communities are built, not by perfect families showing off their best sides, but by real families walking together, sharing burdens, and lifting one another up. And Pope Leo knows this is not optional. He says sharing projects of Christian love is fundamental to spiritual progress and collaborating with God's grace and will. Did you hear that? Fundamental, not an extra, not optional, fundamental. To grow spiritually, we need each other. Families need other families. The church is not a collection of isolated homes, it is one living body. Temptations in family life. Let's return for a moment to Laura's fear. She wrote, "I fear temptations are taking control." This is a line that could have been written by countless parents. Temptations in family life are real, and they take many forms. For some, it is the temptation of distraction, endless work, endless screens, endless noise that drowns out prayer. For others, it is the temptation of discouragement, believing they are not good enough, holy enough, patient enough to raise their children in the faith. For others still, it is the temptation of division, arguments between husband and wife, siblings against each other, grudges that grow silently in the home. But what is the response? Turn to Mary. Mary faced temptations to not of sin, but of fear, of uncertainty. Imagine her at the Annunciation, a young girl, suddenly told she will bear the Son of God. Fear must have trembled in her heart, but she said, "Let it be done to me according to your word." Imagine her at the foot of the cross, her Son crucified before her eyes, every temptation to despair pressing down. Yet she stood, she trusted. Mary's example shows that temptations do not have the final word. Grace does, and when families turn to her, she teaches them to do the same, a blessing that extends beyond Laura. Pope Leo ends his letter simply, "I bless you and your family. Thank you for your kind words." This may look like a closing phrase, but in truth, it is much more. It is a father blessing his daughter in faith. It is the church blessing a family. It is Christ, through his vicar, blessing a mother who dared to ask, "How did Mary raise the Lord?" But this blessing is not only for Laura, it is for every family willing to listen. It is for you, yes you, the parent wondering if your prayers matter, you, the child of a broken home searching for peace. You, the young person facing temptations in silence. The Pope's words, the Pope's blessing extend to your life, and through him, Mary extends her hand to you. The universal call. Now we begin to see the deeper truth. Laura's story is not a small, private exchange hidden in a magazine. It is a mirror of every Catholic home. Pope Leo XIV has given the Church a message. In moments of chaos, uncertainty, or temptation, turn to Mary. She is the mother who never abandons her children. She is the compass who always points to Christ. She is the strength that surprises us when we feel weakest. And this is not just theology, this is life. Laura's letter and Pope Leo XIV reply are not just a personal exchange tucked away in the pages of Piazza San Pietro. They are a mirror for every Catholic home, every husband, every wife, every child trying to walk the path of faith in a noisy and restless world. The Pope's words, "If your point of reference is Mary, you will be able to face any uncertainty," echo like a bell, not just for one mother in Italy, but for families in Africa, in America, in Asia, in every place where the gospel is lived within four walls called home. So what does this mean for us today? Let's bring this message into our lives, into our kitchens, our dinner tables, our struggles, our hopes. Families in today's world, let's be honest. Families today are under immense pressure. Parents feel the weight of endless responsibilities, working long hours, keeping up with bills, balancing schedules, trying to be present for their children, and holding marriages together under stress. Children face temptations and uncertainties like never before, social media pulling them in 100 directions. friends questioning faith, a culture that often ridicules holiness. Even the simple task of gathering as a family for a meal, let alone for prayer, feels almost impossible some days. It's in this environment that Pope Leo's words become more than advice. They become survival, because when everything around us feels unstable, we need someone who is steady. When temptations scream loud, we need someone who whispers hope. And that someone is Mary. Turning to Mary in the everyday. But how do we do this? Practically, turning to Mary doesn't always mean dramatic gestures. It begins in small, simple, daily ways. A mother whispering, "Mary, help me," as she drives her children to school. A father placing a rosary in his pocket before heading into a stressful day at work. A family pausing at night to say one Hail Mary together before bed, even if the children are restless and tired. A young person keeping a small Marian image on their desk, reminding them that purity, patience, and courage are possible. These small acts become lifelines. They connect us to the one who always points to Jesus. Remember what Pope Leo wrote: when you turn to her, the Virgin leads you to Christ. Mary does not keep us for herself. She doesn't stop us at her feet. She takes us by the hand and leads us straight to her Son. Mary in moments of temptation. Laura feared temptations. And truthfully, temptations creep into every family. The temptation to despair when money runs out. The temptation to anger when spouses don't understand each other. The temptation to escape into distractions instead of facing problems head-on. The temptation to give up on prayer because God feels far away. Mary shows us how to respond. At the Annunciation, she faced the temptation of fear. How can this be? But she chose trust. Let it be done. At Cana, she faced the temptation of helplessness when the wine ran out. But she pointed to Christ. Do whatever he tells you. At Calvary, she faced the temptation of despair, but she stood firm, silent, faithful. In every temptation, Mary reveals the path: trust, surrender, faithfulness. And when families learn to imitate her, they find strength they didn't know they had. Uncertainty in family life. Life is full of uncertainties. Will my children stay close to the faith? Will my marriage survive the storms? Will we have enough for the future? Will God answer my prayers? Laura voiced these uncertainties openly, and Pope Leo met them with reassurance. If your point of reference is Mary, you will be able to face any uncertainty. Because Mary is not only the mother of Jesus, she is also the mother of the Church. She knows the fears of mothers. She knows the responsibilities of parents. She knows the anxieties of families. And she brings all of these into the heart of Christ. So when uncertainty weighs heavy, families can look to her, and she will remind them, do not be afraid. God is with you. The gift of community. Pope Leo insisted that Laura share her faith with other families. This is more relevant today than ever before. Families often suffer in silence, thinking they are the only ones struggling. But when they share, when they open up, when they walk together, something changes. A father who admits, "We haven't prayed as a family in months," might inspire another father to say, "Let's start again together." A mother who confesses, "I sometimes feel like I'm failing," might find another mother saying, "Me too, but Mary is helping me." This is how faith becomes alive in communities, not through perfection, but through shared humanity, blessed by God's grace. That's why Pope Leo said, sharing projects of Christian love is fundamental to spiritual progress and collaborating with God's grace and will. Your family's struggles are not just obstacles, they are opportunities to bring God's love into the world, especially when shared with others. Mary as mother of every home. Imagine Mary walking through your house. She passes through the kitchen, where dinner is rushed and children are noisy. She smiles. She knows the chaos of daily life. She sits in the living room, where tensions sometimes rise between husband and wife. She whispers peace. She knows the trials of family love. She kneels by a child's bed, where tears fall from confusion or fear. She prays. She knows the heart of every child. This is not imagination alone. This is reality. Mary is present. Her motherhood is not limited to Nazareth. It extends to every Catholic home, And when families welcome her, when they let her be part of their lives, they discover something extraordinary. The home itself becomes a little Nazareth, a place where Christ dwells, where faith grows, where love is made strong. Pope Leo's blessing for us today. Pope Leo closed his letter with a blessing for Laura and her family, but that blessing ripples outward, across borders and time, to you and me. So hear these words as if they were written directly to your family. I bless you and your family. Thank you for your kind words. Yes, blessing upon your family, upon your struggles, upon your joys, upon your prayers whispered late at night, upon your efforts to raise children in faith, upon your attempts to forgive, to love, to keep going even when it's hard. The Pope's words remind us that the Church sees you, prays for you, blesses you. You are not alone. So what can we take from all of this? Laura's honesty, Pope Leo's guidance. There is example. Together, they tell us this. In temptations, turn to Mary. In uncertainties, turn to Mary. In daily struggles, turn to Mary. In family life, always, always turn to Mary. Because she never abandons her children. She leads them straight to Jesus. Picture this, a family kneeling together in prayer. The lights are dim. The children are restless. The parents are tired. But a small candle burns before an image of Mary. In that simple moment, heaven bends low. Mary smiles, Jesus listens, and grace flows into that home. This is the vision Pope Leo Roman XIV offers to us. Not perfection, not families without struggle, but families who, like Laura, dare to ask Mary for help. Families who, like Mary, entrust everything to Christ. And in that trust, they find peace. So today, let us accept Pope Leo's invitation. Whatever weighs on your heart, whatever storms surround your family, whatever temptations whisper in the shadows, turn to Mary, and with her, walk to Christ.